in the 1920s, it was illegal to be ugly in America. So there's a lot of these things that are still part of legislation which aren't really applicable to society today.
27 questions.
27 weeks.
27 pedestrians.
I'd be hypocritical to say no, because I break the law 5 days out of 7. It's within reason, like clearly it's not to be going around like committing bad crimes like murder or whatever. But I feel like we all do break little small stupid laws here and there every day.
Yes, I think it's absolutely okay to break the law, because as someone who's Indigenous and queer, if people didn't break the law, if people didn't fight for my rights, I would have none. So I think it is your responsibility as a human society to break laws that are unjust.
Technically, it's never okay to break the law, but I've done it and I got away with it. So, I don't know, you tell me.
Yes, it's okay to break the law. Of course, there needs to be some sort of precedent for behaviour in order for society to function. But the law systematically disadvantages so many people. So what's happened is we have created economic conditions in which people need to break the law in order to survive.
Definitely, I think it's okay to break the law. I feel like there's some laws that are just outdated, but they still exist. So if we're talking about like laws in Kenya, it's still illegal to be gay there, and that's like punishable by imprisonment. In that predicament, I definitely feel like it's okay to break the law. Other than that, I know that we all lawbreakers out here, including law enforcement. I think it's definitely okay to break the law. But my future employers, I did not say that.
If there are laws being broken, then it means there's this unheard or unmet need that's not being addressed. So I do think that willfully breaking the law outside of, like violent or petty crimes is usually in response to like a root problem that's not being addressed or like an unmet need. So that can be solved through better representation or better governance.
I could be cheeky here, but I won't. Look, I think that sometimes there is a little bit of grey area in some stuff, but I don't think intentionally going out to break the law is a good thing or okay. Law only gets broken once you get caught.
Yeah, I think so. I think laws are there to set up what is good practices in society, safe practices, and great morals and ethics. And I think a lot of laws that are held in today's society are really old-timely and were set up quite some time ago. So it's really hard to adhere to those. Like in the 1920s, it was illegal to be ugly in America. So there's a lot of these things that are still part of legislation which aren't really applicable to society today.
It is 100% okay to break the law. You have to remember, slavery used to be legal. The Holocaust was legal. Like, the concept of feudalism was legal. All these things at some point in time were legal, and people broke the law. Like, people were breaking the law for women's suffrage. People were breaking the law for civil rights. They did all these things so that we could move forward as a society. Now, does that mean that you go out and, like, steal things? Of course not. But, like, if there's an injustice in the world and it's backed up by a law, it's still an injustice. It's still something that needs to be fixed.
I myself, I'm not a big lawbreaker, to be honest. I'm pretty by the book. But I do understand when people need to break the law to ensure someone else's safety and well-being, and that's where I will agree with breaking the law. If it's just day-to-day stuff, you can probably stick to the rules and it'll all be great for everyone else.
Yes, I think it is okay to break the law sometimes, because laws are set by people in power. And I'm not saying go out and like rob an art gallery or whatever, but when certain people in power are corrupt, they can make things legal that are not okay.
Yeah, I think this one is like a hard question to answer, because theoretically, like, do what the law says and listen to it. But at the same time, like, in Nazi Germany, it was the law for Jewish people to be mistreated consistently. And historically, there's been so many laws in place to marginalize so many different types of people. And so if we just assume that you never have to break the law, we're condoning the environments that facilitate literally genocide of different types of people throughout the world, and it's like still happening today.
Sometimes laws are in place to more about keeping control and suppression as opposed to keeping the peace. So I feel if human life is in danger or at stake, or someone's well-being is in danger, I feel it's fine to break the law in those sort of instances.
Yes, absolutely. I think if you're not hurting anyone, For instance, Australia is just about to legalise over-the-counter non-prescription CBD oil, but they're only allowing 60 milligrams per dose. And for like cancer and anxiety and for actual treatment, you need at least 300 grams. So most people are actually going to keep self-medicating, which means they're breaking the law by buying weed illegally because they've got cancer or they've got like chronic disease or health issues.
I don't think it's a matter of we need to break the rules. We need to acknowledge that we've grown out of some rules and they need to change to accommodate us, because we as a people, as a community, as a country are changing, but the laws aren't. So maybe we should think less about breaking the rules but fixing them.
I'm going to say no. I think they're there for a reason. And I think allowing one or two people to break them, even if they have the best intentions, you know, they're trying to be a good Samaritan, they're trying to, you know, make the best out of that, something, even if they have the best intentions at heart, giving people the idea that they can then get away with that thing, people are going to take advantage of that, and it does and will lead down a darker road.
Yeah, I think it is okay to ever break the law, mainly just for like harmless acts like jaywalking or it may be even in like self-defense, or I'm sure there are other instances where it's fine as well, but I'm not going to say that yes, it's okay to go out and murder someone.
I think there are definitely some laws that you're not going to break, like we're not going to go murder anyone, but you're going to have the odd joint, yes. Are you going to, I don't know, like there are some laws that don't make a lot of sense.
Nah, it's not really okay, but I think everyone's done it, just depending on whether it's speeding or like small little things. You shouldn't do it, but I'm definitely think people have done it.
Definitely. I think, you know, there are some laws, there are some criminals which deserve the harshest punishment possible. We know who they are. But, you know, small laws, like, especially in Australia, there's a lot of laws, you know, and there's a lot of rules in place. It's one of those places where everything's so regulated. And so I think you got to live a little, particularly when you're young. Like, okay, smoking weed's illegal. You get around with some friends, you smoke some weed, there's nothing wrong with that. If you followed the rules, you followed every single law, you wouldn't be living at all. So, yeah, it's okay sometimes.
I don't know, like as someone who is legally trained and, you know, can be admitted to become a lawyer again, I'm going to have to say no. But then, like, at the same time, like, there's so many laws that are unjust. And so I can see why people want to break the law when laws are unjust.
Well, as your friendly neighbourhood lawyer, I am here to say it's always really good to keep challenging the law, because laws are meant to be reactive. They're meant to change with society. With every new generation comes, I hope, more acceptance, more tolerance, more open-mindedness, and I think we need to constantly be challenging the laws.
There's no victim, then I think it's okay to break the law. I think we've all, probably say we haven't all run a red light, but we've probably done something in traffic that's not necessarily the right thing to do. There's some crimes that there's no ramifications for yourself or others, and they're okay. Break those ones as much as you like.
Some of our most influential people in history have broken the law and have become the most influential people in history because they've broken the law. You can think of it from a point of like they've done it for good. So, you know, Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, in their time, they were criminals. And I also think, like, if George Clooney and Brad Pitt rang me tomorrow and said, come rob a casino in Vegas with us, I'd pack my bags and I'd be there.
Written for white dudes to benefit rich white dudes, basically. And I think that if a law is unjust, then breaking it and protesting it is the only way to fix it or have anything done about it. And like you see like all these like huge corporations who underpay everyone, and it's like, well, they're breaking the law. So it's sort of like, whatever. Fuck it. Like, they're not written for us.
I think it is okay to break the law as long as it does not harm another living being.
I feel like at times, yes. Like, isn't it against the law to steal? Like, I feel like if you're really hungry, you should be able to steal some bread. You can break the law. I mean, don't tell them I told you, but yeah. Why not? Just don't hurt anyone. If you're not hurting anyone, it doesn't matter.